Hey, I'm Charli xcx.
And I'm Aidan Zamiri.
And today we're breaking down a scene from the moment.
Do you have a minute just for, I just have a couple of ideas from a filmmaking perspective? Like super quick, just a couple of thoughts.
Sure. Can you guys give me 5?
So I'm sensing that these super aggressive lighting effects you're really into, that it's like integral to your idea, your vision of the show. That,
Yeah, that's
cool.
the show.
It's a little tricky to shoot, you know, when you're making a film.
So Alexander Skarsgård plays a character named Johannes that my character has hired. The only problem is my character has a creative director, which is Haley Gates's character, who is kind of my old friend, creative counterpart, totally gets me inside out. And this scene is kind of really highlighting their total differences in the way that they work, in the way that they think about art, and in the way that they communicate about me and who I am as an artist. It's kind of giving art e-commerce, perhaps.
I have a suggestion. Are you familiar with light-up wristbands? Like wristbands that light up.
Yes, I am.
And the audience wears them, and then we can program the wristbands to react to the music, to the beat. When you see it live, it'll blow your mind.
Yeah.
Coldplay have been using them for years.
I need to state for the record that I did not write the Coldplay line in this scene. That was, well, let's blame it on Bertie because she's not here.
Right.
But no, I mean, I opened for Coldplay, and I have to say, I love Coldplay.
I love Coldplay.
So you heard it here first. Big Coldplay stands in this house. And yeah, I opened for them. I think when I was on tour with them, they had just started doing the light up wristband thing. And it was.
Did it look good?
It did.
I bet.
I remember being like, you know, my breath was taken away.
Absolutely.
But I think that's, you know, now we're in 2026, it's a bit been done. It's been done, Johannes.
It might work for an artist that isn't Charli. You know, I think that's the big thing.
Postmodernism.
Exactly. And you know what? It shows Johannes doesn't quite get Charli's point of view as an artist.
Exactly.
Not to say light up wristbands are bad in every context.
No.
You know, I've worn one before and I thought, wow.
Yeah, me
what
too.
a sense of community you've got.
Bertie Brandes, my co-writer, and we really enjoyed writing these scenes a lot because it sort of felt cathartic in a lot of ways. We were able to like put down on paper all the kind of painful conversations you have a lot of the time doing, you know, creative work in a commercial context. What both Haley and Alex do so well is that they are so good at clearly like not listening to each other properly. And I think that's where so much of that build happened really well.
It's supposed to feel like a nightclub. That is what we do. That is what we are good at.
Totally respect that opinion,
Okay.
obviously. But I have to say that I think we're slightly misaligned here. I'm trying to tell a story here, okay?
Yeah.
And a nightclub is not a story. A nightclub is a nightclub.
Right.
And at some point, the night has to end, and they turn on the lights, and you like, and then the next morning you wake up, and it's like, wow, my head is pounding, what's happening, whoa. You know, maybe you even took illegal drugs.
God forbid.
Whereas a story can be told and retold,
Yep.
passed down from fathers to sons, and obviously from mothers to daughters as well.
First of all, I have to say that none of the characters in our film are based on real people.
The character of Charli?
No, she's totally, I'm not a bitch.
No, God, no, but I feel like there's maybe
I'm not
some
rude
connection.
and mean and sarcastic.
No, sorry. You
I've
just have the
never
same name. You just have the same
smoked
name.
in my life. What are you talking about?
Right.
For the character of Johannes, I mean, I think he is kind of a representation and an amalgamation of different people who I've come across in my time within the music industry. And I guess really the way to summarize him is he is just a guy who thinks he gets it, but he doesn't get it.
Alex and Haley were perfect for this. You know, we worked with our incredible casting director, Jen Vendetti. I feel like I learned so much from her and her ethos as a casting director. I think she's extremely smart in the choices that she makes, people that she reaches out to for roles like this, because she kind of creates almost like a shorthand with the audience by working with people that in some way know how to inhabit that role or live their lives somewhat adjacent to how these people act. I'm not saying Skarsgård is anything like this. That's not what I'm getting at. But say, for example, Haley Benton Gates is an incredible director in her own right, has an incredible film called Atropia. And so Haley cares about the integrity of art. She cares about making work which feels true. And so a lot of her instincts as a person are similar to Celeste's instincts in the film.
I've definitely come across moments in my career that are very reminiscent of this scene. I will say not so much recently and not particularly within the album cycle for Brat, but definitely in the past. You know, I remember I was always getting told to smile more and to brush my hair. I remember people kind of being like, well, they won't buy your record if you don't smile. Wow, and cool. I mean, yeah, my first record didn't really sell anything, so they were right, I guess. But I'm not sure if I'd smiled that would have changed. I have come across these kinds of characters and I have felt at points very misunderstood and pulled in 1 million different directions. And I actually think that quite a few artists at points in their careers go through that, but it's not often shown because, you know, you want to show the kind of final thing rather than the chaotic making of. If you're showing the making of, you're probably showing the version of the making of that you want to show, which we all do, obviously. But I think in reality, sometimes building up to a tour or an album or anything, it can be a f***ing mess.
It's just the thing about this show is actually the people that come to it, for the most part, are not that interested in having children. And some of them probably don't even speak to their fathers because they don't approve of their lifestyle. So it's like a whole different thing that we're doing. You might not get it, which is totally fine.
Do you want to take this? If not, let's turn it off, okay?
We've ultimately made a workplace drama with this film. But we did everything we could to take this kind of somewhat, I guess, like insidery baseball conversation and find the kind of the core of what they're saying, the core of that disagreement, and build on it as much as we can. Whether it's sort of seeing Johannes kind of tower over Celeste in some situations, or Celeste choosing when she's going to be standing up and active in that moment, or of course we've got the kind of strobing lights kind of peppering over the scene the whole time, you know. And A.G. Cook, our composer, did an incredible job of sort of adding sounds that weren't necessarily musical, but were sort of part of our soundtrack that felt almost like they could have been happening in the real world. We kind of, we added a kind of buzzing sound every time we see a strobing light there. And it kind of added to this sort of overbearing tension and build that's happening throughout it.
I really wanted to make this film because I'm always interested in kind of flipping the form. And I'd been approached to do a more traditional concert film, which I think in another world could have been great and right for me. I mean, there are so many great concert films. But for me at that moment in time, I was more interested in kind of twisting that into what I guess I thought would be the Brat version. And so that was, in my eyes, to kind of narrativize it and turn it into a mockumentary and sort of a satire of not only the music industry, but I suppose my life. I'm always leaning into sarcasm, but also being, I suppose, volatile and vulnerable simultaneously. And I think this form allowed me to do that and to, yeah, tell kind of my version of my experience of the music industry, which I do feel is pretty accurate, actually, and pretty honest. We're so used to persona and we're used to what we think the idea of a pop star is. And I think it's fun to kind of scratch at the surface of that and kind of see how chaotic and how emotional and volatile it can really be. And I suppose not only if you're a pop star, but just if you're a person who's in this kind of transitional period of life where you know, you kind of are losing a bit of a sense of who you are.
All right, cool guys. Carry on. Looking great.